Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. So I have my crystal ball off to the side. I will be scrying throughout this message. Predominantly we'll be focusing on fire. A few weeks ago I did a water scry and a lot of you really enjoyed that, so today we're using fire. I'm not necessarily reading images that are coming through the fire, though I'm certainly open to that. However, when I tune into the fire and the energy of the fire, images come to me, so this is how I'm reading this. Also, I'm looking at the wax as it melts, so we're doing a little bit of all the things in this candle scry. Now, channel members, you do have a live that posted yesterday, so definitely check that out, especially if you're interested in your zodiac sign reading for 2025. Be sure to check out your sun, rising, moon, Venus, and your North Node placements. What else? The Strength card is the next of the Major Arcana series. That's going to be posting in the next few days. So if you're interested in channel memberships and all the things that go into that, definitely check that link out in the description box below. Okay. Taking a step aside and allowing Spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. Top of the candle right now looks a little bit like a crown. There is an image that's coming to me from the candle right now that looks a little bit like, it's reminding me of the Page of Wands a little bit, the imagery that I'm getting in my head from it. So this is about new directions, new beginnings. Someone here is starting a very powerful new journey. I do feel that some of you are kind of on the brink of that, but most of you, though, you've already begun. You've already started strategizing towards the end of last year and you're already taking your first steps. There's some sort of very powerful element behind this new thing. I think for a lot of you, this is a very creative endeavor. That's probably why it's coming through in the element of fire for me right now. There's something very passionate and creative about whatever this endeavor is. For some of you, it may literally be the arts, but for some of you, it may be injecting a little bit of an artistic flair into something that's already been existing. Now, some of you, I do want to say, because it is fire and fire tends to burn away the old, it may simply be that you've had to release something major in your life and you're now on your new journey. So whatever the case is, though, there does seem to be a lot of passion surrounding it, a lot of excitement surrounding it. This feels like an adventure. It feels like an adventure. Now, the number 3 is standing out to me right now, just because of the way that this wax is melted. There's 3 little prongs down here. And so this is about our personal foundations, right? We're trying to build some sort of personal foundation for ourselves, or get ourselves established in some way. The image that's coming to mind now is like the 4 of Wands. And so for me, the 4 of Wands is really where we lay down base camp, right? It's something that we can keep coming back to. Someone here is really trying to get a very solid foundation, whether it's internal or external, right? Maybe if it's external, it's looking for a new home, looking for a new job, trying to build up our finances, our career, our life path even. If it's internal, it can be things such as really establishing that sense of inner security or inner value for ourselves, rather than feeling that we need validated from others. But there seems to be a journey that's involved in this process. I do feel that for a lot of you, it's creative again. Okay, there is something here, though, that is, this is kind of like the collective message that I gave the live last night. So this may be happening on a greater collective level. There does seem to be something that we are still mildly connected to from the past inside of our thought space. And I do see that that's actually coming to an end. And the reason why it seems to be coming to the end is because we're approaching the threshold of something that is going to essentially either create enough busyness or enough work or enough change that this is no longer going to be of a concern. There is, for some of you, something that you are carrying inside your heart space with you, because there is a piece of green wax down here that's in the future position for me. And that's, you know, whatever this is, it feels like it should be there, right? So this might be a passed on loved one that we're still holding close to our heart. This might be any number of things, honestly. But it's something that seems to be helping us and supporting us and aiding us in somehow. It seems to be adding fuel to the fire, so to speak. So there's also this sort of shepherd's crook energy that's coming in, and it's the way that the candle wick is bowing over. I typically don't look at the candle wick, but that really stood out to me right now. You may be noticing that you're gathering troops. In other words, you're gathering people around you who help support this endeavor at this time. It might just be one person, it might just be 2 people, or it might even be a group of people that you connect with online, like once a day, like, you know, in a tarot reader's comment section, who knows. But it feels a little bit like there's an added additional support energy that we have somehow harvested for ourselves ourselves, or we've somehow shepherded towards ourselves. This feels a little bit like something we were guided into. So, you know, you guys know that when I talk about spirit guides, I always talk about our guides being in a position where they're supporting us, not leading us. This feels, however, that there's been a little added bonus where maybe our angels or guides or whoever it is that you happen to work with, or maybe even, you know, your universe, if you're like me and you work a little bit more in a non-dualistic sense, you just have to put labels on it for people, right? Maybe you're finding that you are navigating yourself towards these situations of support. So there's a lot of solar plexus energy that is coming through in this reading. So this is where we're really trying to actualize ourselves in order to be more efficient and effective in our life. So some of you may be coming up with new game plans that require new solutions and new ideas. You might be finding that you're more motivated to do things in your life, especially if you've been unmotivated in the past, or maybe you have suffered from that kind of what is it called? What is it called? We actually use it out of context a lot. It is what's the words? Where's my English? It's escaping me. So I'm just going to take it that I'm not supposed to say that there. Someone here is realizing that they can do more than they thought that they could previously. And I bet the reason why I wasn't supposed to say it there is because it is out of context. It's the popular way to talk about it, like OCD, but it's actually like a misuse of the term. Got it. Okay, so when we're looking at this sort of energy, one of the things that we're running into is that we're having more self-efficacy, right? We're thinking a little more highly of ourselves. In other words, we think that we deserve more. We feel that we are, we deserve to give ourselves better. And I think that that's the energy that we're moving into here with what I'm seeing inside this flame. And I love this. This is kind of like, rather than waiting around for something to save us or something to change, we're realizing that we're the ones that have to initiate that change. And that's a very powerful moment, right? When that switch kind of flips for a person. So I think somebody here is really on a grand adventure. That's how it feels. It feels like a very powerful journey is about to begin. So let's go ahead and let's pull some cards for this and see what else is coming through. Three of Wands, that is the energy I am getting for some of you, that you may be about to embark on this, that you still haven't necessarily taken those steps, right? I think most of you have, though, so we'll see. Yeah, I mentioned the thing that we may still be a little bogged down by, and it feels like this energy here, right? We may still have a little bit of this tying us or tethering us into the past here. When we have this is sort of that need to make a decision, or maybe we're just juggling a lot of things, and juggling a lot of things is putting us into this energy of feeling depleted or feeling lack. But more than that, when I look at the Two of Pentacles, for me personally, this card always comes out when we have someone else that's always in our environment, like someone that just comes back and keeps returning. So some of you may have been dealing with this and we're in this space of feeling abandoned, and that may be what you needed to kind of, no pun intended, put the fire under your butt, right? To get you to start moving and to start taking care of yourself a little bit better. For some of you, that's something that has happened in the past. For others of you, it has been some sort of loss, particularly a loss within the family that has caused this. Okay, so the current energy that's taking place now is this. We have this right time. So the interesting thing about the Justice card is it represents everything in its right time. We do have the Five of Pentacles on the bottom again. So there's something here that's happening at exactly the right time. Someone may be beating themselves up for never taking these steps or never initiating in their life previous to this, but the message is coming through with this Justice card is that it wasn't going to happen before this. There were other lessons that needed to be learned. Typically, those lessons are lessons about the self, right? The way that we value ourselves, the way that we love ourselves. So if you're finding yourself in a position where you're embarking on this new endeavor and you're kind of beating yourself up for not doing it before, just know that you probably wouldn't have been successful had you done it before, because you weren't the vibration that could carry this journey. You stepped into a position where now you are the vibration, you are the vessel that can carry this journey. When we have the Justice card, this really reminds me of the Egyptian goddess Ma'at. And Ma'at weighs the feather against the hearts of the dead, right? That's what everybody knows her for, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. She's actually the goddess that is in charge of like divine cycles, right? It's like where everything fits in its perfect place and in its perfect time, divine order. And that's what this card is symbolizing, is that the start of this journey is part of divine order. It's something that's happening at exactly the right time. There are things that are fitting together in ways that maybe you don't necessarily realize. We don't often have the higher perspective or the big picture perspective required to be able to see how those things are fitting together. I do want to say, because the energy is coming through pretty strongly with that for some of you, you're going to find out in the future that you starting and embarking on this journey happened at the precisely right time for, again, that shepherd's hook, for other people to also benefit from it. It's like we're inspiring other people, right? Other people were now ready to be inspired by us being almost activated or initiating our journey. So if you are beating up on yourself for taking the steps now and not taking them sooner, just know that you weren't necessarily going to, right? You didn't. If you were going to, you would have, and you didn't. And it's nothing to like shame yourself over or feel guilt over or beat yourself up over. It's happening at exactly the right time. So let's go ahead. Okay. Now the black of the wax is melting into the white of the candle. This was originally a reversal candle. I kind of repurposed it and put an intention for it for something else, because I wanted that black and white blah blah blah. I wanted the black and white to contrast against each other, and the reason why is because I do candle scries quite often in my own life, and yeah, so with this black that's melting into this candle, it's going in towards that candle wick. It's like there are other forces that we seem to be pulling in, right? Again, that it's that candle hook that started happening while I was talking about that sort of candle hook energy, or the shepherd's hook energy. It's like we're and now the heat is pushing some of the black away, and it's just like coming back, and it's getting pushed away, and it's coming back. This is reminding me of in Kabbalah, there's this idea, it's called Tzimtzum, and I'm not going to go into the explanation of what that is, but that's what this is reminding me of. I'm going to explain it in context to this now. For some of you, there's these return of like old emotions, return of like old things that we're processing, and then we seem to grow and expand, and then we have a return again. And for some of you, you may be a little caught up right now in thinking that this is something that you have, oh, I haven't dealt with this, oh, I'm still dealing with this, oh, I'm still processing it, like what's going on, I thought I was over this, you know what I mean? A little bit of that energy. Just understand that this is a process of refinement. This is how it goes, right? You'll have moments where you feel like you've overcome something, and then all of a sudden it returns to you again, and then you'll be like, oh, I thought I got over this, what's happening? And then you'll be better, and then it comes back. Our subconscious mind doesn't dump everything on us all at once. It usually gives it in little spurts, right? It fills itself up, and then it bubbles up, and then we deal with that, and then it fills itself up again, and then we deal with that. If you want to understand that process, go to the tarot card section in the major arcana, where you reach the Temperance card, into the Devil card, into the Tower. Right? That's a section of the major arcana that's actually talking about that process. What we see in the Temperance card is not necessarily alchemy, right? We see one cup pouring into the bottom cup. It's the above pouring into the below, and then that causes such weightiness in that below that it sinks down, and it leads to the Devil card. Someone has some shadow material that's coming up to be processed, in other words, and this is because it's time, right? It goes back to that Justice card. Everything happens in its correct timing, and one of the things that's taking place here is that we may be dealing with, for some of you, this sort of defense or resistance that we've been holding on to. You may have a moment here, if you're watching this at the time I post it, you may be having a moment here in the month of January where you realize that some of that resistance is something that you've been stubbornly holding on to. It's not just there. It's not just a natural thing. We've actually been holding on to it. And so once we are able to release that resistance, we'll find that our emotional stability is a little bit better. So there's an entire process of refinement that's taking place with this energy returning and bubbling up and coming back. This seems to be a process that is actually lending more passion, more energy, and more of a dynamic context to this path that we're taking. So for example, some of the time while you're taking your first steps, you might be really motivated about it one day, and then the next day you might not be motivated about it because these emotions are coming up. What you're going to find out is that having those breaks where these emotions get processed, then the next day when you feel motivated, you feel more motivated than you did before, right? It's something like that. And so this is really a message that's saying, trust the process. You're starting a new journey. There seems to be some sort of new adventure that's coming. There's a huge, massive energy shift for sure. And the family card keeps coming out. So I do just want to say that family is being highlighted, but more than that, this is the 10 of Cups. This is our ultimate happiness card. This is the path to happiness, right? It's not all pretty. We think that, we're just going to get on this path and it's just going to go up, 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 and up, but it has these dips and valleys. And the thing is that every time we dip into a valley, we heal something and we rise up, and then, it goes a little bit like this, and sometimes it goes down again, right? Just understand that that's the process. We don't need to always question what's happening. We don't always need to freak out if it doesn't look the way that we think that it wants to, right? Sitting in that high priestess energy of that observer and understanding that, this is the self purifying itself, right? If we think about the way that we purify liquids, for example, we have to boil them out, or we have to add chemicals to them and do all these like crazy, like mad science alchemy things. Things bubble up, they hiss, they spurt, they spit, they steam, and then you're left with a final product that is very pure and refined. And it's the same thing for us emotionally. You're going to spit and steam sometimes. Sometimes you're going to be, bubbling over that pot and really upset about it. It's all part of the process. So allow yourself that grace and that space inside of your healing journey to experience that process, because it's required. That experience is required. Now, again, we have repetitious themes. So we have this 5 of Pentacles. A lot of you may be dealing with releasing yourself and freeing yourself from these energies of abandonment. This energy of abandonment has a way of making people wait in their life, right? A lot of times people find that they are waiting to be remothered, or they're waiting to be rescued, right? They want someone else to come in and nurture them or support them or heal them in ways that they feel that their parents should have, or their families should have, or their support system should have, that they never did. And so if you find yourself in that energy, it looks like you're about to get yourself out of that energy, and you're actually going to initiate your own healing, and you're going to basically reparent yourself in some way. So I love that. I think that's very beautiful. It's really that moment where we stop falling for the illusion of something that's never going to come, right? Of something that's not going to happen, and it's not other people's responsibility to do for us. And we start doing those things for ourselves. There is a process of grieving and mourning that often comes with that. So that may be why this 5 of Pentacles is showing up a lot as well, because we may be in the process of releasing something, some sort of energy inside of us, in order to fill that space for ourselves, which is what the King of Cups is all about. So, I do think involved in that, some of you may be realizing things that go in hand with that. For example, trust issues, or, different expectations that we place on people that maybe aren't appropriate for them. Sometimes they're expectations we place on ourselves that aren't appropriate for us. So this looks like a period of time for whoever this collective is, where we're embarking on a new journey, a new adventure, where we're creating new things in our life. And in the process, what's being reflected internally, it might be the internal is being reflected by our path. It might be that our path is reflecting something internally, chicken or the egg. It's going to be different for everybody. But in the process of this, we're healing some sort of space of lack and suffering that we've carried with us longer than we've needed, right? And the ultimate thing that we're winding up with here is this energy, the King of Cups and the 10 of Cups. So I think this is beautiful, and whoever this message is for, if this resonates for you, please hit the like button, and until next time.